So The Idol, I sent you guys in the group text yesterday. I just finished watching episode 3 and I can't. So I'll start here. I honestly think that there was a good show here and they just fumbled the bag. Like somewhere within these characters and this, like the elevator pitch for this show, I think there could have been something good. The execution, they just fumbled the bag. So then I did some deep dive reading on what exactly happened with the show. And it appears that they had a different writing team in, they had a different angle with the show that they were going towards. And like the Weeknd character is kind of like they keep describing him as like this cult leader type guy. But the first iteration of the show was more about the main character, the woman, the Britney Spears type, Jocelyn. It was more about her and like kind of like a women's empowerment and her trying to overcome the bad influence of this guy to like rebuild her career. And then The Weeknd was kind of like, I don't like how my character is being portrayed. So they scrapped all of the writing team, brought in a new writing team and reshot this whole thing with the guy, Levinson, who I'm pretty sure is from Euphoria. Yep. He's done a bunch of other things as well. And watching it under that lens, I'm like, oh, I see exactly what happened here. Yeah. They tried to make the controlled chaos that is Euphoria, but a little more adult and with music. And it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. And I blame the rat tail.
When you're watching this show, you can tell that it's two different shows. You can tell what they had kind of worked on and written and created before this shift happened. And then you can see Abel's influence on the final product. Like all the stuff with the handlers and her team and everything. And it's almost funny. It's almost like a comedy there. And then you get into the cult stuff and the music stuff. And it's so disjointed. And the number one thing, especially after coming off the end of Succession, is the writing on this show is awful. These people are saying words that no two human beings have ever said to each other before. It is so out of the way. The whole thing with the Prince in the first episode about I love Prince. You should listen to. And then he sees the picture in her place, and oh my God, you have a picture of Prince. There are no coincidences. It's like I almost fucking turned the thing off there. Like, what am I watching?
That sounds so bad.
Oh my God.
Bad.
Oh, I have not watched the show. I haven't watched one frame of the show.
And the other thing that really drives me nuts, and I got to get out of here soon, but the other thing that I really want to stress about the show is that it seemed like the main goal of this show was to shock the audience. Like, what can we show them that is shocking, that will get people just talking about what's going on this show, The Idol? Here's the thing, man, is that we're desensitized. We have had the internet now for damn near 25 years, like uninhibited access to the most shocking shit that you can find by just typing it into Google. There is nothing that a television show that can show me that will be shocking to me. And yet it seems that every week this show wants to show me the craziest, most shocking thing that I'll be telling people about. And it comes up so short and it comes up so chaste. You know, like, oh my God, we're showing a nipple. Oh, we're talking dirty. It's like, all right, like, why do I care?
Yeah, like The Weeknd's going down on her in the back seat while they're driving down Sunset Boulevard or Rodeo Drive, whatever the hell it is.
He's jerking off Tones must be like, what the fuck? He's jerking off
the whole time. I'm just picturing Zion the whole time.
Changing room. Honestly, that would be better if you replaced. I don't know who you would replace. Would you replace The Weeknd with Zion, or would you replace Jocelyn with Zion? Now that would be shocking.
Two completely different.
At least The Weeknd shows up for work.
Listen, what he does, it's 25 and 10.
The show's like a good team, like a really good team with a shitty quarterback. Like you have to run all the plays for the quarterback.
And The Weeknd is that shitty quarterback.
I thought you were going to say it's like the Brooklyn Nets, right? Like it should have worked. The Brooklyn Nets in theory should have worked. But in actual execution, it just doesn't work. And
it's
I
like
think
you're running all the plays for the Weeknd, but like he can't do shit.
He can't do it. He's
like,
Zach
have
Wilson.
to hand it off to like the team around him is good. Like the cast.
Hank Azaria is really good.
you're totally right about that. I think like there's a good show that's there. They just fumbled the bag hard. And I think how we started talking about this, comparing it to The Sopranos, and in terms of the Tony Soprano character, who is the kind of guy who we think started this whole HBO run of bad guy characters that we really like.
Yeah.
I feel like this show is trying to do the same thing with the Weeknd's character, but there's no endearing qualities to him.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
And
like
he's not as charismatic a performer as Gandolfini. Like,
but I also think that they're trying to make him someone that later, my dude. I think they are trying to make him someone that is endearing. You know what I mean? Like they're trying to make him a character that is like, you know, there's just nothing to root for him. He's just a weird looking creep that they didn't do a good enough job of showing us why she would fall for him, why she would let him come into their world. And I think if they did that a little better, there's a world in which they would have built up that relationship more in the beginning to show him being this charismatic guy that she falls for. I don't know why they made him have like the slick back hair and the ponytail and just talk really, really weird and creepy all the time. Like it just doesn't work. None of it
you
works.
have to defend your performance on like social media and you come out and be like, no, this is what it's meant to be, and this is how the character is. He's supposed to be weird, he's supposed to have a rat tail, so you like feel a type of way about him. But like if you have to defend it, then it's not really a good performance. It's like you didn't pull it off nicely.
I have a theory here, Timmy, and tell me if I'm wrong here. I feel like they were trying to describe a scene, like an LA kind of like party scene, young Hollywood scene, and the Weeknd's character is probably a depiction of someone that they actually know. And so they're working so hard to try to be this dude, but like 99.9% of the audience has no idea of what this scene or that type of dude is really, really like. So they're so focused on showing this because it's easy to believe that young Hollywood, there's these hangers on, the party scene, the scammers, the drugs, the sex, the people who are just taking advantage of all these actual, like the pop stars and all that. Like, I get that. But I feel like they spent so much time trying to describe that in a way that no one's going to understand. And when you think of good shows, The Sopranos, Succession, Mad Men, Game of Thrones, you're taking us into a world that we don't know, but you're able to translate it in a way that's digestible to the audience. This show did not do that at all. It's taking us to this world and you're just kind of like, what is this? Like, shouldn't this be more fun? Like, that's the other part that I didn't get. You're telling me about like young Hollywood, a pop princess, and like her life is spiraling. You're thinking of like the Britney Spears and Lindsay Lohan's and Paris Hilton, like that whole scene. I'm like, shouldn't this show be way more fun? Right? Like, and it's not. It's just depressing and sad. And then I'm like, oh, well, maybe they're just all on coke.
But is it supposed to be like that? Like, is it supposed to be sad and depressing to watch? But
I don't know.
It's more cringy than anything, I think.
So are you still going to watch it?
Oh, yeah. I've made it through 3 episodes already. Tones, what about you? Are you going to watch it?
Nah.
After this whole pitch of just ripping the show?
Even beforehand, like, just like I'd read about it and I'd heard about it. I just read like a quick sentence. I'm like, what's this show about? And I was like, man, there's some shows you got to be in the mood for. And I just, like coming off Succession, like I'm like, what's the point? Like, I'm just not in the mood for this. it's summertime. I don't want to like sit there and be depressed for an hour and like, you know what I mean? I don't know. It wasn't my
cup of tea. About Euphoria.
If it was really good, if you guys came on here and said this show is awesome, you got to check it out, I would have definitely done it. But I'm like, I don't know. I don't got time to watch bad TV, especially for an hour a night.
Even Euphoria, like it was a good show. It was just like hard to watch because it was like depressing. It was like just high school kids doing drugs and like everyone is just fighting each other and it's just like stuff that like I don't even like really want to watch. It's like whatever. Like I don't know.
But Euphoria still did. But Euphoria still did a good enough job of giving us characters that you felt bad for. right? Like
Yeah,
you spent enough time with the characters and they showed you different sides of each character and the situation that each character, the environment that each character was coming up in. So you felt at least bad for Rue, as fucked up as she is. You're rooting for her because you've seen the difficult life that she's led.
Her family, her sister, all that.
Yeah. Whereas this, it's just like, just a bunch of fucked up people. And it's like, wait, what? How did we get here? How did he just move in like 8 people into her house? And she's just like, okay, cool. Like, what? Like, none of that makes sense. So there is a show there. The Hank Azaria character and like their crew of the woman who used to be on that show Hung. Like, nobody knows. Is
she the security?
No. She was like she's the head. She was the person basically running the whole show.
Oh yeah.
Like screaming at her back and forth. Yeah. It's like that whole angle of it. There's a show there. Yeah, and I think I was reading up something saying that it gets a little more into the music side of her, like, you know, starting to do better and whatever towards the end, where in the beginning they're using all the sex to like get people in, much like Euphoria. Yeah. So I don't know, maybe they turn things around and it becomes decent, but they've already announced there's not going to be a season 2. So I thought that was funny. Yeah, they announced there's already not going to be a season 2, and HBO or the showrunners tried to spin it into being like, oh no, well, it wasn't intended to be a long running series. It's only supposed to be like a short run, like Big Little Lies, right? And it's like,
they made a season 2 Big Little Lies. Like, what are we doing here?